What's up, Bassketeers? Josh Fossgreen here. Today we are going to learn how to play Higher Ground by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which of course is originally a Stevie Wonder tune. The Red Hot Chili Peppers did a rather famous cover of it, and I did my cover of that tune last week, which you can check out by clicking on this if you want to. So to get started with the lesson, you will need to download the PDF for today. You can click on this link and download it or view it in your browser absolutely for free, and that's got full sheet music and tablature and slap fingerings and everything you'll need to play through this. So what I'm going to do in this video to accompany the lovely PDF that I've created for you is I'm going to play through all the sections at a dramatically reduced tempo so you can hear what they sound like outside of song context and slowed down so your ear can actually pick out every single note. And that'll help you get this under your own fingers. And I'll also just talk you through all the interesting tidbits that come up in this song. So you've got the PDF. Let's play the intro lick. Now, let me say something about the intro here. So this tune starts with a bass solo and then the drums come in and then the band's in. During the bass solo section, there's a really interesting polyrhythmic effect that happens. This song is in 12/8. I've written the chart in 12/8, which means we have 4 strong beats, and each beat gets 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 strong beats in a bar, and each beat gets 3 pulses within it. So we write that as 12/8. So there's a funny thing that happens when the bass is going by itself without the drums to mark where those beats are. It can almost sound like instead of. So what's happening is a 4/3 polyrhythmic opportunity where you can either hear it as or which is how the song actually goes. So when you're playing it, you can kind of feel the beat as either 4 groups of 3/8 or 3 groups of 4/8, which would kind of put it into a slow 3/2 feel. So that's kind of interesting. It always threw me off when I was listening to this song in high school. And now when I look back at it, I can see why it was confusing, because the bass solo sounds like it's in a slow 3/4. And then all of a sudden, the drums come in and it sounds like you're in a different time signature. But it's actually the same type signature, although there is also a slight BPM change. When the drums come in, the band picks up a little bit. Sounds like fun, right? So here's what the intro actually sounds like. And of course, this is the same as the main riff also. 2 and 3 and 4 and So this is not only the bass solo at the beginning of the song, but it's also the main riff that you play through the verses. We're just playing octaves on an E, octaves on a G, octaves on an A. First bar, boom, boom, and then second bar, boom, boom, boom. So at the end we get thump, pop, thumb instead of thump, thump, pop the second time around. And that's the main pattern. So start this slow. Make sure that when you have a metronome clicking that you're easily able to subdivide that beat into groups of 3. Dun, 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So turn on your metronome. I'm at 70 BPM is where I'm going to stay for this video. The song's much faster than that. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and so you can either count it 3 and 4 and or 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3 4 2 3 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 4 2 3 1. So make sure that you're comfortable dividing a beat into 3 subunits because that's what the song's all about. It's in 12/8, you got 3 notes per beat. So that's really, really important. Don't just try to jump into this at full steam, never having played in a tripletized rhythm before, because it will not sound good. So make sure you feel comfortable with the meter, I will say, for the 3rd time. And then just practice the pattern real slow. Keep your right arm relaxed, otherwise you will not be able to play fast. And if you need a primer on basic slap technique, I'll put a little link here. You can check out my I'll put the link here. You can check out a previous video I did on basic slap technique. But that's what this is. This is very basic slap technique. It's just thumps and pops. There's no double anythings. It's very simple. It's just fast, and there's a lot of it. So start really slow and then start picking it up. You know, start your metronome as slow as you need to go, even down to, 50 or 60 BPM, and then just start cranking it up 2, 3, 4, 5 BPM at a time. And over the weeks and months, you find yourself at song tempo, and it's that easy. You want to start slow, make sure that you're not acquiring bad habits with your right hand or playing the rhythm crappy, because it won't sound good if the rhythm's crappy. Okay, so now we'll move a little faster through the tune, now that I've shamed and shocked you into using your metronome and taking it slow and not rushing through the song. So the second half of the intro, we're taking that same basic slap pattern, but we're throwing a couple little bonus riffs in it. So this is the second and third lines on the sheet music where the drums and rest of the band comes in. Here's what it sounds like. 2, 3, and 4, and So as you can see, the first and third bars of that pattern are the same as the main riff. And then we're just adding some riffs from an E Dorian scale, which is cool. It's a little more interesting than if they were to just use a minor pentatonic or something. You actually get that major sixth in there against the minor third. You get a tritone there, and it sounds cool. That's an Incubus song, I think. Yeah, anyway, so E Dorian is where those riffs are coming from. They're not too hard, and they sound nice. Getting into the verse, we just play the main riff 4 times, as you can see there, and then we get to that F sharp minor chord where we do basically the same riff, just scooted up a step. So let me play it for you from there. 2 and 3, 4. So F sharp minor to G sharp to lead into that A, just a little A mixed leading pattern, and then octaves walking down from a D chromatically. If that's too fast for you to go thump thump pop on each one of those, you can just go and leave out the middle note, because at song tempo it's not really going to pop out that much, so that's an option there. So then we get into the first and third ending there, which is just the main riff up an octave. Here's what it sounds like. 3 and 4 and One thing to keep in mind with this when you're playing the riff in the higher octave is you'll need to thump a little bit harder to get a good sound when you're playing on higher frets and also playing on your smaller strings. You just have to work a little bit more with your right hand to get the tone out of it. So really lay into it. And remember, the slap is all about rotating at the elbow, not about wiggling your thumb around. So if you're using your elbow, you'll be able to get plenty of power to get a good tone out of those higher notes. Okay, so blah, 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 repeated material until we get to the bridge on page 2. 2, 3, 4. Basically, we're just walking from an A7 chord back to E minor with some pentatonic fills. Minor pentatonic, that is. up to F sharp, this kind of blues scale-y thing. And then just some kind of random chromaticism stuff. I get the strong feeling, being a musical detective, that a lot of these notes were sort of just random filler and he didn't necessarily plan them out. He certainly doesn't play the same fills if you watch live videos. So I've notated it as best I can. There's also a lot of loud snare drum and stuff there, so it's hard to really even pick out the notes from the studio recording, but just wiggle around. It doesn't really matter what notes you play there. That fill changes when we get to the second bridge, which I'll talk about in a second. So don't worry too much about that. Just keep that digga-da pulse going and look like you know what you're doing, and it'll all be fine. The last little tidbit on that page after you do that riff and it's just main riff. And then the way I've written that is just a big slide from an A on the E string. You can just throw a few extra thumbs in there. Just whatever rhythm you want to do. All right, we're almost done with the tune. There's a lot of repeating that happens now. First ending, second ending, third ending, fourth ending. After the fourth ending, you'll be on the bridge again, which will be identical to the first bridge except for the last bar. So let me play that for you. Just the last 4 bars of the bridge. 2 and 3 and 4 and So business as usual, F sharp blues scale, and then kind of drawing from an E minor pentatonic there to finish that off. Nothing too fancy. Also, another little note about the bridge, when you're on the E minor chords and going, you can throw some extra ghost notes in there like, so I'm doing that. If you watch my cover video, I'm throwing a few little ghosties in there. So if you're more advanced, you can play around with that. If you're not comfortable with that, then don't worry about it because it'll sound fine. Just the way I've written it without any extra ghost notes. Coming out of bridge 2, we repeat that those cool intro legs. You just play through that whole thing 4 times. It's the same as when I played it earlier. And then you stop and there's a big tempo and meter change. Now we're in an even 4/4 at kind of punk rock tempo. And here's what that sounds like very slow and accurately, which is not how I played it in my cover video when I was thrashing around. Here we go. 3E and a 4E and a. It's just E, G, and A, just like the main riff without the octaves. Just the plucking's a little fast. But actually, if you watch live videos of them playing this, the bass plucking is very sloppy Joe on this section because it's like wacky punk rock ending. So don't worry about it too much. Just rock it. Your rhythm should be very consistent and accurate throughout the rest of the song. But at this point, you're allowed to thrash around a little bit. Just whatever your fingers do. It's all good. That's it. That's the tune. So really the bulk of this tune is just getting that main riff. So you can do it with a click at a slow tempo and then speed that click up gradually until you're at song tempo. Because if you've got that sounding good, the rest of the song will fall pretty naturally. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back at you with more bass lessons. For those of you who are tired of song lesson videos, don't worry. There will be other non-song related bass lesson videos coming your way in the future, of course. Because learning songs is important, but it's not the only thing you need to do for your musical development. So, I'll be back at you with more bass lessons. If you'd like to encourage me to keep doing that and support me in the process of making these, you can check out my Patreon page where you can get nifty little rewardsies. for contributing a small amount per video, or you can make a one-time donation through joshfossgreen.com. You can also buy my book, Beastly Scales and Arpeggios, and keep your eyes peeled for my new book, which will be a more beginner intermediate book on note names, scales, and arpeggios around the neck. And that'll be coming out sometime this year. Who knows when? Certainly not me, but soon-ish. So keep your eyes peeled. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos. If you're feeling dazed and confused from all the YouTube videos you've been watching and you would like some actual human one-on-one attention to your bass playing, I am available for Skype and in-person lessons one-on-one if you're interested in that kind of thing. So you can contact me through my website if that tickles your fancy. I will see you guys soon. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!